Hi everyone, my name's Loughlin and today we're going to cook a zucchini, turmeric and chickpea salad. So this is an amazing salad, super fresh and vibrant. We've got some amazing colours as you can see in front of me. I've got some beautiful zucchini, some great tomatoes, some olives, some chickpeas and a whole array of ingredients which is going to be put together to make a very, very tasty salad. Now, I love a griddle plate, if I'm honest, or a griddle pan, and any reason or excuse for me to use that pan is a good one. So what I'm going to do is I'll just move a couple of these things out of my way. I'm going to cut up some zucchinis, and I've got a mixture here because at the market there was a few to pick from, so I was lucky to be able to get some different ones, but if you can only get green zucchinis, that's perfectly fine. So I've got some normal green, some smaller ones, and some actual baby ones. So what I'm going to do is just cut these lengthways. These baby ones I'm going to leave as is. I'll cook some of them but leave some raw. But basically, I'm going to cook these on the griddle pan. We'll get some beautiful marks on the zucchinis. They'll slowly break down and become nice and soft, but they'll still have some bite, which is the best part. A zucchini is a delicious vegetable, but it can go quite mushy, as we know. So we want to keep that bite and have it super bright and fresh in the flavors still. So they are cut. Just grab yourself a bowl. I think that's the easiest way. Pop them in and give this a good drizzle with olive oil. So you want a nice coating on the vegetable, as that is what will give you all that beautiful color. So work that around. And I've got this pan preheating on induction setting 7, and I've had it preheating for about 2 or 3 minutes. And feeling that now, that is good to go temperature-wise. So now I'll just place these down, and we'll cook them for a few minutes on each side until we get nice charred marks. And as I said, they're just slightly breaking down. Okay, so while these zucchinis are cooking away, I'm just gonna pop a pan on the other side of my cooktop, as we need to fry some sourdough. Now you can do this before or after, but frying sourdough, if you haven't done it before, is amazing and comes out beautifully well. I'll probably only need 1/3 of this loaf or so. So I'll cut it slightly bigger, and then all we need to do is take off all the crust. So I find it easy if you do it in one big portion like we are now. Beautiful. Once this pan's warm, we're going to fry this off, and if you've never had fried sourdough, you are in for an absolute treat. This is, I think, one of my favourite foods to eat. Okay, so these zucchinis now are starting to look fantastic. Beautiful. So we'll flip them all over. We will turn these once more as well. I like to flip them twice, just to make sure you get nice even heat throughout the whole vegetable and it cooks as evenly as possible. Okay, so to fry off the sourdough, I've got some olive oil here in a pan. Once again, induction setting 7, and see those nice bubbles we're getting at the bottom there? That's exactly what we want. This bread will start to absorb heaps of that oil, so make sure to top up the pan as you go, and you're just going for a really nice golden brown look. That's exactly what we're after. Excellent, so that's the colour we're exactly after, and when you flip it, give it a really nice generous salt. That will absorb into it and give this some beautiful flavour. Okay, so I've given these zucchinis a further flip, and they're getting some beautiful colour now. This is sort of exactly what I want. I don't really mind about getting the perfect look because we're going to chop these up, but these are now starting to become really nice and soft. I'll give it another 2 minutes on this side and then they are finished. Okay, so my bread's looking fantastic and golden and super crusty and delicious, which is fantastic. Zucchinis also look amazing. So now I'm just going to pop these into the same bowl that we olive oiled them in before, and we'll just keep these to the side until we get the rest of our stuff ready to go. All of this other stuff that I'm showing you can be done, as you're cooking off the zucchinis, or you can split it up into 2 like I am today. It's same old. We can pop this to the side. I'm just going to move this griddle pan away as it's quite hot, and then we'll compile everything else. Okay, so zucchini and bread is done, which is excellent. We now need to move on to the dressing. So basically, I've got some hummus, about 200 grams or so. You can use store-bought if you like, or you can make your own. It's really up to you. I've got some turmeric. Now this is fresh turmeric. It looks similar to ginger. This makes everything yellow. So just be very careful when you use this that you don't stain some clothing or your bench or anything like that. Some garlic cloves, 2 of those, which I'll crush. I've got a red onion here. I'm going to dice this and use half of it. The other half we can pop back into the fridge and use for something else. And some lemon. I'll use the zest and the juice of all of this. And then roughly a tablespoon or so of some sherry vinegar. Do that to taste, add a pinch of salt, make sure it's tasty. And that we can then put to the side and it's completed as well. So I will start off with the turmeric. Just scrape this in. It looks orange, but it doesn't stay that way. And it's good to let this sit for a little bit as well. Once it goes into the hummus, as everything goes a really, really nice, vibrant color, a really nice yellow base to the dish, which is excellent. So that is in. I'm always happy to waste a tiny bit where the skin is so I get less yellow on my fingertips. Let's scrape all of that in. I'll use the same zester for my lemon juice, or lemon zest I should say. And then we will use all of the juice from this lemon. So that's all in. Now just to crush the garlic cloves, place them down on your bench with the blade of your knife facing away from you. Rest that on top. Just give it a soft whack. That takes off all the skin. Do the same on this one. Some are trickier than others. This one's a little bit more resistant. Okay, skin's done. Now do the same thing, a harder whack though, and do that to both. Put them together. It's just a quick chop through. And then bunch that all together, a pinch of salt directly over the top of the garlic. And now you want to scrape this on your board with your knife. So force the salt into the garlic, and this will give you a beautiful crushed piece of garlic, and using more garlic in the end than what you would be using if you use the garlic crusher. Okay, beautiful. So there we have all our crushed garlic. That goes in. Let's just give this a bit of a stir as it is now. Get everything mixed together. The color will start to change slowly. Right now it's still quite orange, but this will slowly become more yellow as it sits. Finally, our onion. So just in half, as I said. And a really nice fine dice if you can with this one. Whenever red onion's too chunky, as we know, it's really peppery, quite hot. I'm not a fan when it's too big. I think it can spoil things, so get it as fine as you can. So the root end, leave that intact, and so get as many of those little cuts as you can. This is optional, this part. You can leave it out if you want, but I like to go towards me a little bit, but just be very careful when you do that, and then go back through. This root part, obviously you can chop that up, but for a nice salad like this, I like to just use that first cut, pop all of that in. And this will be used in a salad, or I'll cook it off something else that I'm having the next day or two. So in the fridge that can go. We'll just give this a stir. And finally, about a tablespoon or so of sherry vinegar. Then just let this sit to the side. This will develop more flavour as it sits. So if this can sit for a good 10 minutes, perfect, but have a taste. You might need more vinegar, more salt, maybe more garlic. So really make it how you want to taste it. And we'll cut all the rest of our veg and we're almost there. So now all we really have to do is build the salad. So the last of my ingredients here, I've got some heirloom cherry tomatoes, a tin of drained chickpeas, some beautiful Sicilian green olives, which we need to pit. And I much prefer it if you buy an olive that is whole and you have to pip it yourself, because you're just guaranteeing yourself that freshness. Those pre-pitted olives can be quite old and you can taste it as well. So easiest way if you don't have an olive pipper is get the olive, pop it on your board, place your knife directly on top and just push down. What happens then is your pip comes out like so. You've got your olive like that, which isn't looking overly pretty at the moment. But what we can do is then just give that a rough chop and throw that into the bowl. So pip your olives, the chickpeas, they can just go in. I'll leave a couple out just so I can sprinkle those over the top as well. Our cherry tomatoes, all I need to do for these is in half, do a few in half lengthways and horizontally, all that sort of stuff to get a bit of a different look through the salad, so they can all get chopped through. Also, our zucchinis. You know, we start off with pieces, you know, nice and large like so, and just start to just randomly chop it up, because you want everything bite-sized, and when people grab into this with a big spoon or a pair of tongs or something, it's easy to grab. So random bits like so. Our beautiful sourdough bread, literally just break it up and keep it once again similar size to your zucchini. Throw that in, and that is looking super, super tasty. Almonds, these are roasted. I just need to roughly chop them. So I'm going to finish off all of this, add it into this bowl, we'll give it a really good mix, and then we can pretty much put it all onto a plate, make it look amazing, and that's it. So all of those ingredients are in this bowl. I just need to get in there with my hands in a second and give them a really good mix around. I've left a little bit of bread to the side as well, which we can place on top so it's, you know, not all smashed up. Same with the chickpeas. But what I need to do as well is I've got some parsley and some mint here, and we just need about half a cup of each. And the parsley I will roughly chop. Nothing in particular, like literally that's it. That goes in. The mint, same amount. The great thing with the mint is, let's just tear it in. So you've got really different sizes and that sort of stuff. We'll tear some fresh over the top as well. But this just gives some beautiful freshness to the salad. So these all go in. I'll do this bunch here as well. So definitely don't be particular about how you're doing this. Just as you can see here, be pretty organic in the way you cook. You don't even have to really measure it too closely as well, just a rough amount. Excellent. So now what I'll do, get this beautiful hummus mixture that we've got, grab a plate in front of you and just pour that in the center. And just spread it out. Don't spread it out too far though, because when we put the weight of this on top, this will sort of ooze out, and you know, that'll become quite a nice area in all those ingredients. Now, just carefully, maybe use a slightly bigger bowl, that would make sense, but anyway, we're here now, aren't we? So, get it roughly mixed, pick it up in your hands. It's just easier if it falls. However it falls is however it should be. Don't get too pedantic about, you know, laying this in a certain manner. Once again, get a good handful, let it fall, and it sort of depends on the size of your plate. This one here, I've got enough to do a second plate up, which is excellent. So I'll just pick some nice colourful bits, some tomatoes, which we can see. I'll get some extra bread, which I'll rip up on top. And if you think you need it, go some extra herbs, but this one's looking really colourful, which is an absolute bonus, which is great. It's looking fantastic. I think all this needs now is just an extra drizzle of olive oil, just for that nice glistening. Good old pinch of salt, just to make sure everything's seasoned beautifully. But now that is looking absolutely fantastic. So here we go, zucchini, turmeric and chickpea salad. This is an absolute cracking salad. I know you'll enjoy it, and it takes that humble zucchini to an all new level. So thank you so much for watching. We would really love it if you give this recipe a go. If you do, please make sure to post it on Facebook or Instagram and tag Mila along, as we would love to follow along in all of your cooking.